Show up on Thanksgiving for the first day since 1969 when they took on the Houston Oilers south of here on the road. And Switzer will take the opening kick to the 21. Can this Cowboy offense
tackles back? Expect them to have a bounce back game today.
Start out with a running play. Morris met early and somehow broke out of the tackle and was able to get past Trevor Williams. Putting Switzer in motion, and they're going to hand it to him. He's going to be greeted back at the 20-yard line by Melvin Ingram. Of the 22 on the field, I want that to be me on every snap. Well, he was on that last one. 3rd and 9. Time for Prescott. Comes over to Witten, and he tries to reach for the first, but he's going to be a yard short. The 8 yards to Witten still comes up short by a yard.
That's been the difference so far this year. They keep getting on the long 3rd downs, and they just haven't been very good.
Here's Jones with the punt. Clear catch signal.
Philip Rivers, 21 interceptions last year. He's playing a lot better mistake-free football, and that's allowing him this winning streak.
He's coming out throwing. And hitting at the 30-yard line is tight end. Sparks out an audible and make sure it's heard in all directions. As he runs it with Gordon, the Cowboys must have heard it too because they pounced 3 yards behind the line, led by Durant. It's Gordon. Gets back what he lost on the last play. Coming in motion is Eckler, who's been quite a find and has started the last couple of weeks. Rivers on the run, heaves it. He's got a man open at the 30, and it is Benjamin down to the Cowboys' 24-yard line. 3rd and 10 sets up Los Angeles at the 24 and a whistle. Pre-snap call going to be against the Chargers.
False start. Offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Jerome Boger and his crew.
The ability for him to be open that late.
So 1st and 15. Back at the 29. Coming in on Rivers. He gets rid of it. That was Wilson coming in on him. 2nd and 15 is what he did. Do it in the area of Allen. Now he goes underneath to Allen, who makes one wiggle to get around a Cowboy and then stumbles down about 2 yards short of the first. Then up now for about 5 weeks. He's in. And here's the throw by Rivers, and it was over the head of Allen. Cost Los Angeles big time. Novak 8 out of 11. And his field goal is wide right. He's been holding his lower back as the Cowboys come bursting out with Morris. And the Chargers now as a team are 11 for 18 on field goals this year. 61% by far the worst in the league. And there's another carry by Morris. 3rd and a yard. The Cowboys will run for it, and they get it. And they got it with Smith.
Obvious passing down situations.
Here they come rushing in on him as Morris is able to peel off another good carry on 1st down.
They're having to adjust a little differently now.
2nd and 4. Witten, and let's see what the forward progress is.
Different deal for the Cowboys.
Cowboys try the end around. And they pick up the 1st down with Williams.
1st down and 3rd and short, 3rd and less than 2, really 3. And that's their MO. That's why they have to stay ahead. And this is how they create their chunks right here, Jim.
Yeah, Prescott with Bosa chasing after him. Just throws it away. They run 124 plays and had 22 drives without a touchdown. And tripping up at the line of scrimmage is Morris.
And had like 4 or 5 3-and-outs, 4 in a row at one point in the first half. They just turned the ball over too much, but Alfred was rushing well.
And speaking of rush, pass rush, that is by the Chargers.
Out on the edge, the right side.
Jones trying to pin them for the 2nd time inside the 20, and it's a good punt. Down at the 7. And Melvin Gordon will be called on. And the Cowboys are there to answer, led by Tyrone Crawford. Fake to Gordon this time. It goes a nice block, and it helps Rivers find an open man, and that was Allen.
See the movement by the Cowboys before the snap right there.
Caused a pre-snap penalty against the Chargers.
Start. Offense, number 87. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
6 in a row, the kicker's gone in a football game against the same team.
How does that happen? Here's 1st and 15. And again, the Cowboys are there to plug up the rush. Look at Gordon, though. From the pocket, launching and finding again. A man deep in the secondary, and it's the 3rd catch already in this quarter for Keenan Allen.
What the Cowboys need to do to get Dez going.
That's 32 yards. As Rivers hangs in there, and again, he's got a man open in the secondary, and it's Henry with his 2nd catch. They've beaten up the Cowboy defense for a 46-yard play, a 32-yard play.
Had a lot.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, late hit out of bounds. Defense, number 31. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
That late shove out of bounds. So the Chargers down inside the 20 for the 2nd time in 2 drives. And Eckler gets his first handle
To make his choice. Here he comes.
Low snap, ball on the ground, and Rivers has to go back to the 23 to save the possession. Much less the NFL, and from here it would be 41 yards if they went that way. Rivers gets him closer.
I don't know if that's close enough. Watch right here. This is the kind of spot they like to go.
Eckler stopped a yard short.
190.
Go with Rod Smith. Who else you would even say you could put him in there with? 2nd and 6. And another 4 picked up on the ground. So the Cowboys with Bailey, who's back today. They had to have Jeff Heath come in and kick in one game. As Prescott's pass dangerously broken up. Flag comes in a little bit late.
Use of hands to the face. Defense, number 26. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
They needed that, getting out of the hole.
And the first down run by Smith. Rod Smith picks up 8. Big Fat and inactive for this game. Pass complete. Williams. That pass picks up 2 and first. And they have had some good chunk plays on first down through the running game, which they're going to go to again. Rod Smith.
Playing behind the chains, that's not a recipe.
2nd and 5. Prescott dancing around, trying to get out of trouble, but can't.
He's your play. Now you got to create something good here.
3rd and 11. Pass up in the air, caught on the rebound, but well short of the first. Bryce Butler. 2. This would be now 23 drives.
That's not the Dallas Cowboys we've seen over the last 2 seasons.
There's actually no touchdowns on the last 23 drives since the last time they scored one in the first quarter at Atlanta. Of course, he has that commute every day down in the San Diego area up to camp. There's a pass for about 3 yards to Gordon.
He's one of the good guys. You root for him to hopefully get a shot and shoot both runs down.
Eckler for about 5.
Walks of life, and it's just a special thing, and you remember the people that really helped you along the way.
Here on 3rd and 2. That'll pick up a first down. Eckler for 3. He's been quite a find.
Yeah, he showed up, and they're like, hey, every time he touches it, you get yards.
First down throw. Keenan Allen has a first down gain of 11.
They're struggling against him right now, and they also got favorable box.
Play action. Cowboys come in on him. Gets it away, and it probably got lost looking into the sun by Jordan Lewis.
They're huge plays in football games.
Diving catch. Defensive backs like Jordan Lewis, who lost it. And on 3rd down, they go right back to Allen.
There we go.
Knocked down. Flag is out.
Oh, they're going to get him for holding, I bet. You would do that.
Pass interference. Defense, number 30. Spot of the foul, automatic first down.
Go with Gordon. Picks up one. Hitchens on him right away.
They're still doing it. Oh, he throws a screen into it.
Benjamin steps out of bounds. Brown is there. / groin injury. Cowboys blitzing 5 over the top. Rivers finds Henry, and he's able to barrel down inside the 10. 4 completions already by Phillip. They've gone for over 20 yards. Here's the toss. Eckler. Cowboys meet him quickly.
Back's fine.
Rivers knocked down at the 5.
Back's one-on-one over the middle here.
There they go, and the Cowboys saw it too as Jones slams down Eckler. And
I like his chances here, Jim.
I do too. We're right into the net for the first points of the game.
It's fine. They're completely fine. Got it. There's something to get them themselves going.
So Drew Kaiser kicks it off instead of Novak, and Switzer races ahead and breaks it out to about the 33-yard line.
Reads.
Low snap. Scott secures it, completes it to Witten. That's just the 20th play of the game.
Des Bryant, Cole Beasley up top.
And again, there's a completion. It's Williams for a first down.
Doesn't like it much, but you know, they need to go to him. He's one-on-one up top. He's up there by himself.
Sliding away from a possible sack, and Williams makes the catch with a marker in the area.
Off, create the separation.
Pass interference. Offense, number 83. 10-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
Zach Martin, to me, is the best guard in the National Football League. That's a big blow.
First and 20. Complete over to Smith, but well defended. 40 seconds to go. 2nd and 17. Prescott looking right into the sun here, and with 2 Chargers there to defend, Witten makes the catch, and he gets thrown down, and he doesn't like it. 3 seconds. Dallas with 1 remaining. Pressure at the middle, picked up. Here's Witten. Sure-handed tackle.
So really well done there by the Chargers staff and Anthony Wynn.
Jones. And the fair catch with 16 seconds to go.
One guy, all he does is move the ball in practice, and some of the older coaches were like, what are you doing? We got a veteran.
I'll tell you what, he's done a lot to... So here we go. The Cowboys will send it down the way, and it's a short kick. It's King. And plows ahead into a bunch of bodies, including Wilbur. Ball.
And we'll see how this goes in terms of Novak's health. They may be in 4th down situation the rest of this game, Jim.
Here's Gordon. And that's for Gordon. His best run of the game, his long carry on 5 attempts in the first half was 3 to the team. But then when you start crunching the numbers, it's astonishing. Here's a 1st and 10 carry again by Gordon. And that's good for about 5. And
whenever he was on the other side, I was like, okay, we're going to be okay today. When he wasn't, I didn't feel comfortable.
2nd and 3. And the Cowboys make a stop and drive him back. That was Anthony Hitchens on 3rd and 2. Got a man open. Eckler has the catch at the 35 and is able to carry a Cowboy. Heath, that is, with him. Is this guy? All he does is make plays. And now dawning 30, he is making plays as part of the game plan. 1st down carry for 1. They go see the special teams coach. Show me something over there. And he did. 2nd and 9. But it's Gordon doing the work on this carry. Down to the 14. It'll be a 3rd and 4 coming up. Cowboys defense trying to buckle down here on the big 3rd down snap. And the pickup of the 1st down thanks to Allen. 1st and goal to go. Allen with 3 3rd down conversions in this game. As Gordon has quick contact by Justin Durant.
2nd half. They've got to change that today to have a chance.
Hand off to Gordon, trying to get the edge. And the Cowboys are there to hold him to a yard. Durant and Skandrick sliding over as Eckler comes over in the area too. Third and goal. Rivers looks that way, looks for another option, and finds it for the touchdown to Hunter Henry.
Allen's going to run out here, and he thought about the back shoulder, didn't love it, and you're going to see Rivers as he goes back. Watch Henry, another back shoulder. He's covered, but he throws him to the other side where the defender isn't. He looks over there, comes right back to Henry and throws him open, all within rhythm.
It's Novak who comes out for the point after. Look out left.
Didn't even attempt a third one, so the Chargers have cost themselves points.
Chargers having just completed the fourth drive of at least 65 yards. Switzer trying to get some good field position. He accomplishes that. His second nice return of the game.
Those chunk plays that we keep talking about in the passing game.
Prescott on first down says, well, let's get Brian into the game right away. First snap goes to Dez.
To the right.
And trying to find any kind of crease is Morris. Picks up about 4.
Had a guy inside to say Cole Beasley will not beat us on short passes, little passes. This is what they have to do.
2nd and 7 pass, trying to hook up again with Bryant.
To catch the ball just has to be, in positions where your guy just makes the play on it.
3rd and 7. Here they come. Bryant got him away. Now Beasley has a grab.
Around you, throw it.
Longest play of the game for the Cowboys. Went for 12. Morris, he waited for the defender to go past him. And takes it down to the 36, picks up 5. 2nd and 5. This is the deepest point the Cowboys have been today, the 36. And that brings it down to the 33, 3rd and short. Up the middle. And no, what a fake it was! Prescott fooled everyone in the building. The flag is out. What did you see, Tony? You were signaling flag from the get-go.
On Dez Bryant up top because the corner tried to come off.
Offense, number 77, 10-yard penalty, replay, 3rd down.
Boy, I tell you, they all went for Morris.
He keeps that ball in a lot of 3rd and 1 or 2s.
Chargers in the chase. Prescott some 20 yards from the line of scrimmage. Now heaves it out of bounds.
What happens, and you just have to figure out new ways to move the ball, and it's just an adjustment that he'll have to continually make year in, year out.
Here's Jones pinning the Chargers at the 7. First down. Give. Gordon trots ahead to about the 14, gain of 6. Jerry Jones has been in the news here a lot lately.
Everything he does is in the best interest of the NFL. And I can promise you he believes what he's doing is in the best interest.
There's the throw for the first down out to the 30.
See an extra tackle in the game here.
And first down, jet sweep by Benjamin. Cowboys read it.
Just got called back. It's a big play.
2nd and 11. Pocket sealed. Rivers up top. Batted away. And extra blitzers too, as Williams is wide open in the middle of the field and finally tripped up in Dallas territory. Had at least a 20-yard reception. Racing to the side is Gordon, and right there with him is Jalen Smith.
He needs to learn the game at this level.
2nd and 10. Flags are out. Cowboys may have jumped. Allen with the catch. Gains 13.
Going to be an offsides on Malik Collins.
Defense, number 96. That penalty declined the result of the play. It's a first down.
Allen, his top target, has 8 grabs for 98. Here's a first down throw. First down throw, and it's caught, plucked out of the air by Tyrell Williams.
It's just up the sideline, and the ball's perfectly over his head. That's exactly where you want to throw that, where he can just go right over his head, and Anthony Brown tries to get his hand in there and time to block these kicks.
And that is good. Never a doubt. All pumped up now. There's hit the PAT. There's a yard deep, and Switzer is stopped short of the 20. And how? That's Watt, by the way, on the tackle. 16 yards total offense. Morris follows his blocker. drive starter with 5 or 6. By the way, the Cowboys have never gone 10 straight quarters without a touchdown. Never. Scott wanted to take off. Flags are out.
Behind the line of scrimmage.
Holding. Offense, number 71. 10-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
180!
Prescott still has it. Dumps it over to Morris, who weaves up the middle and is able to get close to a yard away from the first. Wild shootout game. Far different than what we see here. 3rd and 2. Oh, and Morris with a big effort.
But those are the plays right there. 2nd 15, games in the balance a little bit. You needed 13-10, something to get yardage.
The Chargers lead at 16-0. Cowboys get that pass across the middle, but it's only good for about 4 to Rod Smith. Flag out, deep ball, broken up, and a flag there as well.
Fouls on the play, both against the defense. Offside defense, number 94. That penalty is declined. Pass interference, defense, number 31. Number 24. Spot the foul, automatic, first down.
It'll be the biggest gain of the game for Dallas. I think they called the wrong number because it was on 24. Now on Phillips 31. Cowboys 5 yards on that first down run. Boza brings him down. Offensive lineman for the Cowboys himself. 2nd and 5. Pass caught.
He caught it.
And he was out of bounds.
They walk these guys around. They're all over the place.
Prescott's pass, back shoulder, and it's pulled down by Bryant. Longest play for Dallas other than the penalty before. 1st and goal. That's Morris. Straight ahead inside the 2. Actually, it was Smith. Let's give Rod Smith some props because he's had a couple of good runs in this game.
To the left, or throw a fade up top to Dez.
There's the handoff, straight ahead, and across for the touchdown.
The push right here. A lot of big guys in there. That's a touchdown. Run to the sideline, throw to him quick.
Wasn't there, so Prescott crossed the body and over the head of Williams. After punting the first 5 times they had it. Sometimes you get these 2-point plays and maybe they don't feel like the intensity's there, but there was a wide open receiver there, and that just changes so much here.
Right on point.
Allen slips out of the tackle and scoots ahead for 14. Got away from Anthony Hitchens. There's Allen. He's over 100 for the 2nd straight week. And they flip it to Benjamin. He's a speedster. Oh, and he just lowers the shoulder. Toss to Gordon. Running lane for Jalen Smith.
Average.
Here he is on 1st down.
Picks up the pressure again.
And that one was behind Keenan Allen. Incompletion of the day. 80% passing. Moving in on 400 yards. Tacks on another 4.
Over here to the left. Line.
Eckler's been big in the passing game the last few weeks. Looking the other way, though. The pass. Back to Allen. And no Cowboys able to stand up as Allen weaves past them all for the touchdown. What an effort by Keenan Allen.
Inside right here. Really incredible at the line of scrimmage. And Orlando's leverage is supposed to be inside. So the defense is, he's in 2-man. He's supposed to be inside.
Gandrick couldn't stop him. It reminded me, as the extra point is wide this time by Kaiser, reminded me of that last play of the half. Philadelphia applied to the Cowboys, 37-9, and now this one. Not over, but it's certainly not the Cowboys in sync for a 3rd straight game. That point after, though,
Huge.
Today's throwing for 103, 14 out of 18. So this nickel and dime stuff, but the Cowboys have truly nothing really to speak of down the field. An 18-yard completion.
Have to get them. They've got to get down the field a little bit and put some pressure on this defense because the running game without Zeke.
He sings that one.
There
to
it
Terrence
is.
Williams. Williams slides down between
Leverage release, and then bam, fired back on.
Trey Boston also in on that tackle. First down. Time to the end zone. To Bryant. Batted around, incomplete. Broken up by Hayward.
Really just makes it with his hand. There's a good throw. Oh,
scoops it up. Prescott alertly able to make a play out of something that was busted. Long shoved him to the ground after he released it. 3rd and 1. Go to the gun. Fake the run. Bootleg pass. It's Witten.
These two guys, probably the last time they play against each other.
Inside 8 minutes. Prescott on the run. Flips it, and he's picked. Prescott trying to cut off the angle for King. King's got a blocker in front, Ingram, and he's going to take it the distance. Desmond King, 90 yards on the pick 6.
Breaking play right there, and you see Beasley cutting out. And so Dak started to the right side of the field, came back late. And Beasley had already run his route, and he was starting to try and create something to get open. And just
yes, it is.
You were in the red zone. Still 2 scores.
Kaiser extra point, and again, that one's right of the mark. His defense is starting to gel. This young Chargers team is starting to really figure some things out early in the season. Man, they found some ways to lose games. They could have been far better than the record Witten and Gates have in their careers. Jason leading the Cowboys all time in catches and reception yardage. He's got another catch right there.
And he could end up almost second on the all-time receptions, period.
That's 7 catches today. There's Beasley picking up a Cowboys first down. Well, you know him so well. What do you think's in his heart as far as playing?
Know what he does watching right at the top of his routes. He gives it his change of speed for a guy that size.
Oh, they pick him off again. This time diving pick out just in case.
That's an interception by Hayward going the other way.
And he was down and trying to figure out a way to get into the playoffs via the wild card route. And those chances certainly taking a considerable hit here today for Dallas. By the way, the Cowboys spent a timeout after that last play. There's Gordon, ridden down by Jalen Smith.
Everybody in that last game. We'll see how the season plays out. So it's a favorable schedule going forward.
3rd and 9, and that's incomplete.
And I mean, but you got Redskins and Giants.
We got a flag in that area there.
2-0. Oh,
yeah,
that's good. Cowboys with any chance.
Pass interference. Defense number 27. Spot the foul, automatic first down.
Now, maybe not if teams make a run, but you got a chance at least there, as long as it's not like Atlanta who holds the tiebreaker over you. And
Gordon. Look forward to bringing it to you. 2nd and 8.
Well, anyway,
Still 2nd down.
Game right now.
You might be jockeying with him for a spot if you're able to catch a run. And don't forget,
they should.
You get Elliott back.
You get Elliott back. And if they could win these 3 in a row after this, which they easily could do, they're still a really good football team. They just haven't played good football.
Important wins in their 6-4 record. Here's the 3rd and 5. And again, it's Allen. Another chunk play for a first down.
He's one of the good ones, and you root for guys like that. Same way with Dak. They're good guys.
There's Gordon bouncing off a hit behind the line and picking up 1.
He went up. And that was going to hurt you at some point. And then just the clear schematic advantage they have throughout the year isn't quite the same.
Nice piece of running here by Gordon, and he gets swung around, and the way they spun him actually carried him to the 1st.
Almost abruptly in the playoffs last year against Green Bay, you thought everyone thinks you get better and better. In some cases, the NFL is sneaky how those teams change from year to year. You get a rookie, you get a new scheme. They study you all off season. I mean, there's a lot of reasons that go into it. Injuries, I mean.
Up to 518 yards of offense. Local kid and loves the Cowboys.
He's 22-0.
Yeah. He's right out of Cedar Hills High School in nearby Cedar Hills, Texas.
Defense,
part of Dallas County.
Half the distance to the goal, still 3rd down.
And the Chargers, instead of pouring it on here and adding on a touchdown, they're just going to take a knee here and run it out back to to Dallas, where he was raised here in the area. He's got some 50 guests in the stands today, including his mom, Betty, his daughter, Danielle. They're here. His past history here, not only as a young kid being a Cowboy fan and the Tony Dorsett days.
Important game, and man, the Chargers brought it today.
Did they ever? One more kneel down.
LA Chargers, Jim.
Yes,
the LA Chargers.
They are something else the way they're going. And Coach Lynn said, I hope to go back with a win in one of my mother's sweet potato pies. And it's headed his way. He's got both parts of it. Betty's brought the goods here to the stadium. His team did too.
That they did. Phillip Rivers played his best game of the season and really controlled the game from the line of scrimmage. Dallas came out to pressure him. He got the protections right, changed the play, got the ball out versus the pressures when they didn't have it, picked up and just really carried them. And then Dallas never really got anything going on offense.